I want you to imagine for just a second that that you are opening a high-end restaurant,
Okay, I like where this is going.
right? So you've spent months perfecting the tasting menu. The ambient lighting in the dining room is just, I mean, it's absolutely flawless. The kitchen is spotless. You've hired a Michelin-level chef.
Sounds expensive.
Super expensive. But there is no sign on the door. It's located at the dead end of this hidden industrial alleyway. And you literally haven't told a single soul in the neighborhood that you are actually open for business.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that is just a beautifully designed secret that is mathematically guaranteed to go bankrupt.
Exactly. And while it sounds ridiculous when we talk about a physical brick-and-mortar restaurant, this exact scenario plays out, I mean, every single day in the digital business world.
Oh, constantly.
People spend this enormous amount of time and capital building these visually stunning websites,
Hmm.
right? And they launch them into the void. And then they just sit around their digital dining room wondering why it is completely empty.
Because in this hyper-competitive digital landscape, just having a website is no longer a strategy.
Right.
It's just a prerequisite. You don't need a static brochure. You need a functioning, highly calibrated engine.
And that brings us to today's deep dive. Welcome in, everyone. We are tackling a challenge that honestly keeps a massive percentage of business owners awake at night. Like, how do you actually build an online presence that serves as a relentless engine for brand growth?
It's the million-dollar question, really.
It is. So to figure this out, we are unpacking the operational playbook of DigiFix. They are a Melbourne-based digital marketing agency, and we're examining their core strategy documents, their case studies, and their educational frameworks.
Yeah, to extract exactly how they turn digital tools into tangible, measurable growth for Australian businesses.
Exactly. And what immediately jumps out, at least to me, when you analyze their framework, is this absolute rejection of isolated tactics.
Yes, they are definitely not looking at a menu of separate services here.
No.
We're looking at a tightly woven ecosystem.
Right. Our mission for this deep dive is to really uncover the mechanics of how three distinct elements, so that's custom website design, Google Ads, and SEO, how they actually feed into one another.
Which goes right back to your restaurant analogy.
Yeah, exactly. So your website is the dining room and the kitchen, right? It's the foundational infrastructure. And Google Ads, that is the massive illuminated billboard on the highway pointing hungry, ready-to-eat drivers directly to your front door right this second.
I love that. And then SEO is your long-term neighborhood reputation. It's the structural word of mouth that basically ensures you stay booked out for months in advance.
That's the perfect conceptual framework.
Mhm.
Because if any one of those three pillars is weak, the entire system just bleeds revenue.
Oh, 100%. If the billboard works but the kitchen is completely chaotic, you lose.
Right.
If the food is world-class but literally no one can find the alleyway, you lose.
You lose. So let's start with the foundation, the kitchen. The very first pillar in the DigiFix strategy is custom website development. Now, this is where I want to push back right out of the gate
Yeah.
on behalf of you, the listener.
Okay, let's hear it.
Because let's be real about the modern internet. If I'm a business owner looking at my overhead right now, I can go online, pay $30 a month for a drag and drop template, and have a mobile responsive, decent looking website live by dinner time.
You definitely could.
So why in the world does this agency's playbook hammer the idea that you absolutely need custom web development? Like, is this just a classic case of an agency trying to upsell a massive five-figure retainer?
I mean, it completely sounds like that until you look under the hood of how search engines actually function and really how human beings interact with digital spaces.
Okay, unpack that for me.
Let's talk about the mechanics of a template versus a custom build. A website template is essentially a one-size-fits-all suit. It's built to serve 10,000 different types of businesses reasonably well. But to do that, the code behind the scenes has to be incredibly bloated. Like, it carries the JavaScript and the CSS for features you aren't even using.
So you're just carrying dead weight by using the template.
Exactly. And that dead weight absolutely destroys your page load speed.
Mm-hmm.
Google actually uses something called Core Web Vitals as a major ranking factor now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if your seat takes 3 seconds to load because it's, rendering a bunch of useless background code, Google's bots notice that, and they actively penalize your site in the search rankings. You basically become invisible.
Wow.
A custom site, on the other hand, is like a bespoke suit. Developers strip out everything except exactly what your specific user needs. The code is incredibly clean.
Which means it's fast.
Lightning fast.
Yeah.
Google bots can crawl the site in milliseconds, and they instantly recognize your relevance and authority.
Okay, so there is an actual infrastructural algorithmic reason here. It's not just about making the design look prettier.
Not at all. I mean, looking pretty is a nice byproduct, but the primary job of a website is conversion. And that brings us to the psychological side of custom development.
The psychology.
Yeah, so DigiFix's documentation really emphasizes building sites tailored to a very specific target audience to completely eliminate friction.
Okay, let's define friction here, because I think people assume friction just means like a broken link or a 404 error page.
Sure. No, friction is cognitive load. It is any micro hesitation a user experiences.
Interesting.
If you are forcing your unique business model into a generic template, your customer journey is compromised from the start. Like maybe the request a quote button doesn't sit exactly where the user's thumb naturally rests on a mobile screen.
Oh, I hate that.
Right. Or maybe the service pages don't logically flow right into the checkout process. A custom site is engineered from the ground up based on how your specific customers actually behave.
So it's intuitive.
Exactly. It intuitively guides them to the conversion point without them ever really having to think about the navigation.
It's like having a restaurant layout that naturally and effortlessly funnels people from the front door straight to the host stand.
Yes.
Rather than, making them wander past the bathrooms and through the kitchen just to figure out where they're supposed to sit. It signals immediate professionalism.
And that seamless experience is what actually drives the growth. It builds trust instantly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If a user lands on a site that feels clunky or confusing, their brain just immediately associates that friction with the quality of your actual product or service.
Okay, so we have our custom-built, high-converting foundation. The code is clean, the load speed is incredibly fast, the cognitive load is zero, the dining room is set perfectly.
It's still empty.
It's still completely empty. Which brings us to the traffic drivers. We have to get people in the door. And that leads us to the two-pronged strategy of Google Ads and SEO.
Right. This is where we look at how to systematically capture market share.
So let's start with the immediate gratification side, which is Google Ads. The DigiFix playbook positions this as the short game. It's the flare gun.
I love that analogy.
Yeah, you want immediate visibility right this second. Boom.
Yeah.
You fire the flare, you pay Google, and suddenly you are sitting at the very top of the search results.
But it's a very specific, highly targeted kind of flare. What's crucial to understand about the mechanism of Google Ads is that you aren't paying for raw impressions like you would with, say, a traditional billboard.
Right.
You are paying to intercept high-intent behavior.
Explain that distinction a bit. What do you mean by high intent?
Well, if you buy a billboard on the highway, 99% of the people driving by do not need a plumber or a corporate lawyer or whatever it is you're selling right at that exact moment.
True.
You are paying to interrupt them and just hoping they remember you later. But with Google Ads, you are capturing existing demand.
Ah.
You are reaching an audience exactly when they sit down at their keyboard and type, "emergency plumber near me." The intent to purchase is already fully formed.
So you aren't creating the demand. You are just stepping right in front of it.
Precisely. Which is why the ROI, the return on investment, can be so immediate.
Yeah.
But as a business model, renting that top spot is super expensive. You are paying for every single click. If you turn off your credit card, the traffic instantly drops to zero.
Right. You can't just keep shooting expensive flares into the sky forever. You need to build something permanent. And that is where SEO, search engine optimization, really comes into the framework.
Yes, the long game.
The long game. If ads are the flare gun, SEO is meticulously constructing a massive lighthouse.
I really love the lighthouse analogy because it takes serious time, labor, and strategy to build. You have to lay the bricks.
Step by step.
You have to create highly relevant content that genuinely answers the questions your target market is actually asking. You have to earn backlinks from other reputable sites to prove to Google that your site is an authority in your industry.
And this ties right back into why DigiFix insists on that custom website development up front, doesn't it?
It does, because a lighthouse built on a crumbling foundation is just useless.
Yeah.
If you spend a whole year writing brilliant blog posts and optimizing keywords, but your site is still running on that bloated, slow-loading template we talked about earlier, Google's algorithm is going to throttle your reach.
Wow.
But when the custom code and the SEO strategy actually align, the compounding effects are incredible. You slowly climb those organic rankings until you are sitting right on page 1. And the clicks you get from organic search, you don't pay a dime for them.
But wait, here's a mechanic I really want to dig into. Because a lot of business owners might think, well, okay, I'll just choose one. Like, I have a big budget, I'll just run Google Ads and ignore SEO entirely because SEO takes 6 months to see results.
Right, people think that all the time.
What actually happens if you try to short-circuit the system like that?
You end up bleeding cash.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. And this is a brilliant mechanical reality of the Google ecosystem that most people completely miss. Having a strong SEO foundation actually makes your paid Google Ads cheaper.
Hold on. How does organic search make paid ads cheaper? Google wants your money, why would they discount it?
Because Google's primary product isn't actually ads. Its primary product is user satisfaction.
Oh, that makes sense.
Right. If users click an ad and go to a terrible, irrelevant website, they stop trusting Google. So Google assigns a quality score to every single ad you run.
A quality score.
Yeah, and that score is heavily based on the landing page experience. If your custom site loads instantly and the content perfectly matches the search keyword, which is basically just good SEO, by the way, and users stay on the page, Google rewards you with a high-quality score.
And a high-quality score actually lowers your cost per click.
Exactly. You could be bidding $2 a click, and your competitor could be bidding $3. But if your site is fully optimized with a great quality score and theirs is just a slow template, Google will actually place your ad above theirs and charge you less money to do it.
That is wild.
Your structural SEO directly subsidizes your paid marketing.
That is a massive aha moment. The pillars literally feed each other.
They absolutely do. And when you deploy SEO and Google Ads simultaneously, you achieve something the playbook refers to as becoming a leader in search results. We are talking about SERP dominance, search engine results page dominance.
Right. Think about the psychology of the consumer there. Someone searches for a service. At the very top of the page, in the sponsored section, they see your business.
Yep.
They scroll down past the ads into the local map pack, and there is your business again. They scroll down to the regular organic results, and your website is the #1 result.
It triggers a massive perception of authority. It's the mere exposure effect in real time.
Yeah, the consumer subconsciously concludes, wow, this company must be the absolute gold standard in this industry because they own this entire page.
And that perceived authority just skyrockets your click-through rates.
Okay, so we thoroughly understand the mechanisms of the individual tools now. We have the lightning-fast custom website that converts traffic smoothly. We have the precise, high-intent targeting of Google Ads. And we have the long-term compounding authority of SEO.
The trifecta.
Right. But understanding the theory of an ecosystem is one thing. Putting it into practice is another. I want to look at how DigiFix operates as an agency to actually weave these together.
Well, what really stands out in their operational model is how they position themselves in the market. They don't operate as a standard service provider. They position themselves as a strategic partner.
That's a buzzword we hear a lot, though, partner. What does that actually mean mechanically for a client?
It's a big difference. A service provider executes a siloed task. You hand them a check and say, run my Google Ads, and they run them, completely blind to what the rest of your business is doing.
Okay.
A partner audits the entire ecosystem. For instance, the DigiFix playbook notes that their customized strategies actively incorporate online reputation management alongside web design and search campaigns.
Oh, that makes total sense when you think about the conversion journey.
Right.
Because imagine you do everything right. Your custom site is flawless. Your SEO is top tier. Your ads are totally dialed in. A customer clicks the ad, they love the site, they're just about to buy, and then they open a new tab, search your company name, and see you have a 1.2-star rating on Google Reviews with terrible customer feedback.
The conversion drops to 0. All that ad spend, all that development money, it just completely wasted right at the finish line.
Brutal.
That's why a holistic view is absolutely non-negotiable. If you aren't managing the reputation, you aren't actually managing the growth.
I want to tackle a specific phrase they use, though, because it feels like a bit of a contradiction. They emphasize delivering high-quality leads at what they call sustainable prices.
Yes.
Let's be brutally honest here. Hiring a dedicated agency to build a custom website, manage your ongoing SEO content, run complex Google Ads campaigns, and handle reputation management, that is an inherently expensive proposition. How can they possibly claim that holistic approach results in sustainable pricing?
It's a really great question, and to answer it, we have to look at the math of cost per acquisition, or CPA.
Okay, let's get into the math.
Business owners often look at the upfront sticker price of an agency retainer and panic. But what they really should be looking at is the cost to acquire a single paying customer. Let's run the numbers on that leaky bucket scenario we talked about.
Let's hear it.
Imagine you decide to save money on the website. You build a $30 template yourself.
Okay.
Then you spend $10,000 on Google Ads to drive traffic to it. Because the site is slow and the user journey is super confusing, your conversion rate is only 1%.
Yikes.
Right, so out of 1,000 clicks, you get 10 customers. You just paid $1,000 to acquire each customer.
Ouch. That is a heavy cost per acquisition.
Exactly. Now let's look at the holistic approach. Yes, you pay more upfront. You pay an agency to build a custom frictionless website. You spend that same $10,000 on ads.
Right.
But because the landing page is perfectly optimized, the code is clean, and the ad quality score is high, your conversion rate jumps to 4%. Now, out of that same traffic, you get 40 customers. Your cost per acquisition just plummeted from $1,000 down to $250.
Ah. So the upfront investment in the ecosystem radically drives down the ongoing cost of actually acquiring business.
Precisely. That is the actual definition of sustainable pricing. You aren't pouring water into a bucket with holes in it anymore. You are capturing and converting the maximum amount of traffic for every single dollar spent. It's an efficiency play.
And we can actually see the real-world validation of this. In the source material, there's a specific client case study highlighting exactly this synergy.
Yeah, that was a great example.
When DigiFix applied these tailored solutions, the applied SEO strategies didn't just boost vanity metrics like, page views. They led to higher search rankings that directly resulted in a massive influx of new paying customers. The ecosystem worked exactly as designed.
And another really interesting element of their approach as a partner is their commitment to education. They don't treat digital marketing like this black box to just keep clients in the dark.
Yeah, if you look at their content, they openly publish incredibly detailed guides. They have a piece breaking down the 9 essential steps for anyone wanting to start their own digital marketing agency.
Right, and they publish comprehensive glossaries for beginners.
Exactly.
They do that because they explicitly recognize how overwhelming this industry is for business owners. They ask, do you get lost in digital marketing jargon? By actively educating their audience on topics like, how to select a blog topic for organic reach, they aren't just selling services, they're building trust and demonstrating their own authority.
It's brilliant inbound marketing.
It really is.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to pose a question directly to you, the listener. Think about your current digital footprint. Think about your own business or the company you work for. Are you treating your website, your paid ads, and your organic search rankings as completely isolated chores?
That's the trap.
Do you have a web developer who never speaks to your ad buyer while nobody is actively managing your search authority?
Because if they aren't constantly talking to each other, you are just bleeding efficiency and burning your budget.
Exactly. What we've learned from unpacking the DigiFix methodology today is that true, unshakable brand growth isn't about buying a single silver bullet. You cannot just purchase some SEO or run some ads and expect miracles.
No, it requires a unified front.
It's the deliberate synergy between a meticulously engineered custom website that eliminates cognitive load, the aggressive, high-intent precision of Google Ads to capture today's active buyers, and the long-term compounding architectural value of SEO to dominate your market well into the future.
And if you are an Australian business owner or really anyone looking to implement this exact caliber of ecosystem, you don't have to guess how to start.
Absolutely. For those who want to take action and actually audit their own digital foundation with the team executing these strategies, DigiFix offers a free consultation. They are physically located at 18 Cambria Road, Keysborough, Victoria, postcode 3173.
Yep.
You can reach out to them directly via email at info@digifix.com.au or just pick up the phone and call them at +61 38669 1773.
But before we officially sign off, I want to leave you with a broader, perhaps slightly uncomfortable thought to ponder.
Oh, I like uncomfortable thoughts. Lay it on me.
We've spent this entire deep dive talking about optimizing for search engines, specifically Google, treating them as the primary highways leading traffic to your digital foundation.
Right. We spent a lot of time talking about how to build the best lighthouse for Google's bots.
We did. But the technological landscape is fundamentally shifting. Think about the explosive rise of AI chatbots, voice-activated assistants, and zero-click search results where the AI just gives the user the answer without them ever visiting a web page. If your entire custom website is built to capture traditional search traffic, what happens to your growth strategy when consumer search habits evolve completely away from typing keywords into a traditional search bar?
Oh, wow. Yeah, if the map fundamentally changes, you better hope your foundation is agile.
Exactly. If the way human beings look for information changes completely in the next 3 years, is your digital ecosystem robust enough? And is your brand authority deep enough to adapt to a totally brand new map?
That is a phenomenal question to chew on. You need an engine that can still run, even if the fuel source changes entirely. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep auditing those ecosystems, keep testing your foundations, and we will catch you next time.